guys, we are back once again asking the age-old question of, is insert character still good in insert year? This time it is Itto in 2025. So quick little history about Itto real quick. So Itto was released back in 2.3 during the Inazuma update, and he was the first actually good Geo DPS character because before that we had like Noelle and Ningguang. This was before we had stuff like Farina, so Noelle wasn't really that good back in the day. And he was a pretty solid DPS on release and was still like the only good Geo DPS for a good while until a certain blonde woman came out. But we'll discuss her later. Anyways, quick breakdown of his kit right here. We got his normal attacks, which have a special type of charge attack. Whenever his second and fourth normal attack hits, he gains a stack of superlative super strength, and when he gets a maximum of 5. And then we use charge attack. He basically does consecutive strikes with his claymore before finishing off with a final blow. And then his elemental skill, basically it's like Ganyu's flower where it's a decoy, but also does a very decent amount of damage if you invest talent levels into it. And then his burst, which is the main thing of his kit, basically just giving him a steroid attack bonus increase based off of his defense, with the downside of reducing his physical and elemental resistance though, while also making his first and third normal attack hits give him superlative super strength. Did I forget to mention that he's a defense scaling unit? As for his Ascension materials, I will say in terms of getting his Ascension materials though, they are a little annoying to say the least. The Golden Wolf Lord, that requires you to have a Geo to break his little wolf heads, and not to mention this thing also does corrosion too, so not the greatest thing to be grinding out. And then the beetles, I mean, this is basically like Inazuma's version of Scarabs from Sumeru, so you know that, yeah, getting Itto's Ascension materials are rather annoying. I'll keep it a buck real with you. They give that a 4 out of 10 in terms of getting his Ascension materials. Now as for weapons, luckily Itto does have some pretty good free-to-play options. Like White Blind, it's just a no-brainer. It's defense, increases defense even more in the passive. Like this is just a solid weapon. It's craftable, so you can easily get this R5. If you guys got the Battle Pass, Serpent Spine is always just going to be a good claymore to have on any character. But that's about as far as options go, but at least you do have one like very good solid options. And then for 5-star weapons, you really just want to get Redhorn Stone Thresher, though you could use any other attack increase related weapons or stat sticks that have like crit substats. Any of those can work fine, but none are really going to come close to Redhorn on them. So I'll give overall weapon accessibility for him a 8 out of 10. Now artifacts. Husk is the only artifact that you want to put on him, and unfortunately this is also in a domain with artifact set that is only useful on like one character, and not to mention Rift Towns. I'll give this like a 5 out of 10 because it's like, you know, this is a good artifact set for him in that domain, but on the other half, you got a pretty bad artifact set. As for his constellations, C1 is just kind of like whatever. Like you just get a couple of more superlative super strength stacks just passively when you go into his burst. His C2 does help with energy, which he does actually have energy problems in his teams, unless you were to go like full Geo, but even then you still have a little bit of trouble. His C4 is just bad. Like this isn't really that useful, especially on a C4. His C6 is pretty good, in which he just doesn't consume, or he has a 50% chance to not consume superlative super strength stats. Top of that, his charge attacks deal an extra 70% crit damage, so you know, I'll give this like a 6 out of 10, or I'll give his constellations a 6 out of 10. And for his talents, the main one you really want to focus on is his burst and then his normal attacks, and then his skill is just kind of like optional, but I would highly recommend leveling this up as you will miss out on a lot of damage if you don't. All of these are just really good to level, and if you don't level all of these then you'll miss out on damage, so I'll give these like a 7 out of 10. Now as for team composition, so Itto's a defense scaling unit, and there's a good defense scaling support for him, and he doesn't really work well with any other supports. So when you build Itto, you also have to build Gort, which is a little less than ideal, unlike somebody like D-Luke where he just fits in with just whatever supports you probably have built already, whether it be Bennett, Farina, Solonin, Kazuha, Shinyan for the plunge variant of his team. You just kind of have to build Goru. And then on top of that, you need a third Geo unit for Goru's full benefits. And if you don't have Solonin at seat 3, then you're either picking just any random Geo character. At least this part isn't like very picky. Like you could use Chiori, you could use Albedo, you could use Zhong Li, you could use Geo Traveler for all I care. Kachina, which I did go over in my Is Kachina Good in 2025 video, which you guys should totally check out. But outside of that, you really really isn't any other good teams that you could put Itto in or juice him in or any other way to build his teams. Given the team building segment or team accessibility segment, a 5 out of 10. Now, how does a modern day Itto team fare up against? Oh, and nearly forgot to mention, Itto does have energy issues. If I'm not mistaken, he has a energy cost of 70 for his burst. Gora does give it a decent amount of energy, but he also needs energy for his own burst that also costs like 80 energy. So both of these characters are very energy hungry. So yeah, trying to get geoparticles around for everybody can be a bit of an issue. In some cases, it could be optimal to not run Bennett and run like a secondary sub DPS, like having two like Albedo and Shiori or Albedo and Zhongli, which was very popular team back in the day for him, since we didn't have a lot of good options as we do now. But my rating still stands as a 5 out of 10. I just had the whole energy issue thing in mind when making that rating.
Bring it!
Advance! Press the advantage!
I'm going in!
It's showtime! Let's roll! Ha! 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 Cha! Ha! Ha! Bam! Ha! Cha! Ha! 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 Ha!
Attack!
Gather!
Teamwork is dreamwork! Lights out. Judgment! Ha! Umbrella warfare, I guess! Ha! Nah! Hey there! You can't run! Huh?
Solidified!
Everybody stand back! Judgment! Punishment! This one's got your name on it! Hey there!
So Navi team was also at a slight disadvantage due to the enemy we were fighting because, you know, he just doesn't like geo constructs for some reason. But like I did say though, energy issues do very much exist with Itto teams. But now to answer the question though, is Itto still good in 2025? Not really, no. While he was the best when he did come out, he has since been power crept, especially with the HP inflation with enemies nowadays. I just don't think Itto can unfortunately keep up. If you really like the character of Itto, then by all means, go ahead and build him, invest as much as you want into him like I did. But for those looking for a Geo DPS, I very much would just say go with Navia. She's much easier to build, and she can just use supports that you probably already have built, like Zhongli, Rosaria, Bennett are just like pretty good options for her. There's also Shangling that you could throw in there too to get that pyro resonance. Unfortunately, Itto just does not hold up to
Don't
this day.
underestimate the beetle. They can be some of the toughest little guys around. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
But if you guys think,
Beetles dying?
if you guys just,
Sweat and
oh
tears,
my god,
that's
Itto,
what.
shut up! I can't hear
That's how
myself
it
think.
gets See you at the...
Before I was so rudely interrupted, if you guys think that my opinion is wrong, tell me in the comments, share this video with your friends if you think that I'm wrong, or something like that. Make sure you like and subscribe, and join my Discord server, links will be in the description. Make sure you follow my Twitch as to where I will be live streaming eventually. And until next time, I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.